Have you ever considered how we get certain places in life? And I don't mean like locations. I'm talking about how we develop certain lifestyles, how we get into certain things, how we follow certain paths that lead us to certain areas, whether it's in relationships or our personal health or our jobs or the things that we do for a living. Like, I'll give you, for instance, if you'd have told me when I was, say, 17 years old that I was going to live the life that I led from 17 until my current age, I would have thought you were crazy. I would have said there's absolutely no way that that's going to be true. That makes no sense. But isn't it odd how life works? This is the Warrior Podcast 108. I want to talk about the slippery slope of things. Now, these can happen for good or for bad. So I was talking to a young man about his future and investing in himself, taking himself to the next level, looking at his life that's before him as training towards something. And so I use the comparison of men that I've been in contact with that didn't have a life in their past that would be one that people would aspire to, whether it was being racked with addiction or making really poor choices in life that led them to, say, prison or I think you get it. Their life just didn't turn out how they probably thought it should have when they were much younger. And my point when talking to this young man was that these individuals didn't wake up one morning when they were young and go, man, I want to be this thing. I want to have this life 10, 15, 20 years from now that looks like this, meaning it could be, like I said, addiction, broken relationships, just devastation in their wake, because it becomes this habitual life that leads to this. So it doesn't start off as this big grandiose plan. It starts off with one poor decision. It starts off with that one instance when you're like, nah, I'm not going to do this today. Or I'm going to go left instead of right. Let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. And then left turns into another left and another left. I think you get the point that there's a slippery slope. And so what's my point? What am I trying to get at? Is that we need to be intentional towards a goal. Now, I know that the world loves talking about goals. People love goals. I mean, if you look at the research, most people set a bunch of goals the first of the year and don't follow through with them at all. I mean, they're not even a month in, they've given up on their goal. That's not really what I'm talking about. I mean, I guess it could be a little bit of what I'm talking about, but ultimately it's this bigger plan of things. But here's our problem. We don't know the future. We don't really know where our paths truly are going to lead us. We just assume they're going to lead us places. Well, here's the big difference. If you're a believer, if you trust in the Lord, you know that ultimately He has a plan. If you follow His word, you know that ultimately He has a plan for you and for me and for everyone. And I know that's cliche, God has a plan. And I know that that's just how the world does it. They try to make God's truths cliched as flippantly, yeah. But it's true no matter what. He does have a plan. And the only way to know that plan is to be in constant communication with Him, constant reliance on Him, constantly asking, almost like those magic 8 balls. I don't know if you remember those, where it's like, should I call her? It is decidedly so, or whatever. It's looking in that direction. Or, it has these obscure yes and no answers. But my point with this is that we seek the Lord in what He would have us do, where He would have us go. Not as a good luck charm or flipping a coin. It doesn't work like that. That's how the world sees this sort of thing. For those that are in the faith, they know this to be true, that God speaks, God guides, God leads. If we're in constant communication with Him, absorbed in His word, getting to understand His mind, He does speak. Now, it's not going to be audible. I don't know many people, matter of fact, I don't know any that's truly heard the voice of God. I'll be honest with you, if I heard it, I'd freak out. But I hear His voice, that inner voice, that still small voice. And the quietness of things. And it prompts and it leads, but you have to be intentional and you have to be willing to step in the direction in which it tells you to go. I have to be that way. You have to be that way. If you truly want to be in the right direction, the right path, the right destination in your life, that God guides us. But we have to want that, truly want it, not just on paper, not just through lip service. Yeah, that's what I want, and really not want it. Because we got to remember, back to our original point, is that there's a slippery slope of life that before you know it, you wake up and you're way far in a direction you may have not wanted to go. But your choices compound in that direction, whether you realize it or not. And so we need to be intentional with how we go. We can't just say, oh, I'm going to take a day off today, or I'm just going to let this one slide. And I'm not telling anybody this to get them to be racked with anxiety or apprehensiveness, but trust in the one who knows the direction, the true compass, the one for the true north that leads us in the direction we need to go. And don't move until you are given that direction, that decision, that inclination. And you can trust that it came from him. All right, guys, remember, as always, you're a warrior designed for glory. Live in that, walk in that, know that. As always, if you like the content, comment, share, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll continue to put it out. God be with you. Stand and fight. Peace.